Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. I totally forgot the go live notification. Let me pop that off right here. It's Saturday. It's been a minute, but we're back. It's nice having a few days off the stream and even one day off of work. I'm spoiled. I'm so spoiled. All right. Go live notification notified. Sad music being replaced here. Something more fun. There we go. Yo, what up? Smooth in a second. All right. What are we going to do here today? The genuine answer is I don't know. I did very little work on my days off here from the stream. I did a little bit. Something I need to figure out is how to get writer here to show me files outside of the solution. I've done it before, I just don't remember how. We can appearance maybe. I don't remember. The reason this matters is I've started building out these little JSON files. That are part of our new tile map atlas structure. They kind of describe the underlying structure of the format. I want to just open this with Writer, not Sublime Text Editor. There we go. These horrible things. So these are arrays. I put them into groups 4 wide so that we can kind of understand what they do. I can kind of show what they represent here. Wasn't quite sure of another way to do this, so I kind of just went with this. So it's like, here's the group I did so far. So the group I did already is this main group. Let me grab it all. So like, here's like the main wall for the X face, this section. So this is like one main group. So what I did, because we need to represent this structure, this kind of, this is the this is the autotiler structure. So this is how the autotiler would index into these based on its logic. So here's the same group, this first half here. These are the X faces. And they're in four tile groups for organizational reasons. And they map onto the same groups here. So they're also 4 tile groups. I should probably outline these or something like this, so it's easier to see them. Maybe not. But yeah, so what I've done here is I've written out in array format. So I've basically taken this region, which is an array, essentially. And I've written out for each index in this array, I've written out the vector. So like 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0. I've written out the vector that maps these entries onto this, what will eventually be a dictionary. So it maps onto this thing. So right now it's an array because that's all I could easily do with JSON. With the JSON format, it was easier than trying to make a dictionary in JSON. Because the key value pairs can't just be a vector, aka an array. As far as I understand, it was not easy to do. The key of a key value pair in JSON, I think, needs to be a string. And I wanted the key to be a vector, which is an array in JSON. So instead, I just flipped it. So instead of storing the dictionary, we're storing the array, and then the values in that array are what the dictionary keys will be. So we're gonna need to take that and build out a little process that maps those. Hey Nix, how's it going? I wrote it out here because I wanted this information to live in the... I wanted it to live with the tile map atlas rather than being a thing that was like hard-coded. Because I could have just hard-coded this into the tile system. That was my original idea. Like this. Yeah, I actually started doing it. I started writing it out. But we actually want to build these. So I guess we'll just do this in the ready function, probably. We eventually need a better system than this. I just don't quite know how to do it yet. It's a bit of a conundrum. Let's switch this to a collection thing here. 473, that's the RimWorld mod count. We're almost at 500. We've almost reached our goal. Nice, Nix. Very nice. Still needs work. Subscribing for 1 month at tier 1. 17 months on a 17-month streak. That's incredible. Thanks, Still Need Work. How's it going? I need to scoot forward a little bit here. Uncomfortable. You're gonna go for a decade? We'll see. We'll see if I can do a decade. But we're 17 months in, so it's gotta be easy, right? Sorry, I'm muted. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I took the last few days off the stream. Was here or there. Kind of had a bit of a working staycation where I kept working, but yeah, I spent some time with my partner, spent some time not working on this. It was nice. I needed a bit of a rest. But we're back and we're picking up where we left off, which is a confusing point here where we're trying to figure out, but we're going through integrating our new tile map atlas. I am not super pleased having to make all these dictionaries. Kind of don't want to do this way. Wonder if there's a different way I could do this. Not really though, right? Taking a break's important. Yeah, it is good. It's good to take a break. But you got to feed the algorithm, so, you know, I had to come back. I could have easily just taken the whole rest of the week off, but I wanted to pop in here and do a little bit of work. So we have all these dictionaries, which are supposed to be the maps from the autotiler, under the autotiler mapping to the atlas texture mapping. And this is going to be kind of hard to build out. So we could just build one of these like as a member variable, right? Like this. The problem with this, though, is that what if we were trying to process formats, like different formats? We'll need to load in the format, understand how it works. Maybe we're going to end up having like a registry, like a format registry that we build. Some kind of object that we maintain that like knows all of the formats currently in use. A database, yeah, kinda. It's simpler than that in most respects. It's the autotiler thinks of things like this. It thinks of, so like here's the left side, right? Here's all of the X-facing walls. So this is how the autotiler thinks about it. It thinks about, I put these into groups for reasons, but here's like tile 0, which has all of its outlines. And then you're like, remove part of this outline, then remove part of this outline, then remove both of them, and then part of this outline, and etc. You go through these, and these are combinations of X and Y coordinate changes. So if this one needs to move, we just X plus 1. And then if, you know, this one needs to move, we like X plus 4. And then same thing with this. If the top gets removed, we do y plus 1. And so if you've got y plus 1, x plus 1, and x plus 4, then you'll come down and we'll pick, I don't know, I think it's this one here. Problem is and here's where it gets interesting, and I'm a little concerned. And so let me not get ahead of myself. So here's how we build out and kind of figure out which tile we want. The autotiler does that kind of additive process and picks the ultimate atlas coord that we're going to use. The thing is, this isn't how tiles are organized on the tile map, which honestly it could be. Like, so we've tried packing everything down into a smaller format here. So this is like all of the tiles for this type. So we need to map from this, you know, we need to be like, okay, so we were at x plus 1 plus 4 and y plus 1, which got us to this one. Now we need to figure out, okay, so we're here. Where is this in this list? And we can kind of figure that out pretty quickly here. So you're the first of group 16. So if you're the first of group 16, then it's this one right here. So there's this mapping process if we want to compress it like this. I don't know if we ultimately need to do this. This was my instinct to prevent, you know, this stuff from getting out of control. Because this, so X face here takes up, so when we compress it like this into this denser mapping, this ends up being 768 by 112. Let's see what 768 by 112 is. Let's see what the size of that is. So 768 by 112. It's 86,000 pixels. If we just left it like this and built this out as the tile map atlas, well, for one thing, it's incredibly inefficient. And its size would be, well, we could compress it a little more than this. We could shorten them. So this isn't going to be the most fair comparison in the world, but it should be sufficient. So instead of 768 by 112, this one is 256 by 800. That's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. But let's see how much that is in terms of pixels. Let's see what the relative size is. 256 by 800. Okay, so that's 204,000, well, 205,000 pixels. So that's like, so 204, 800. $86. 86,016. So yeah, that's almost 2.5 times bigger. If we just leave it in this atlas format, it's super inefficient in this atlas format. Oh, did I actually size this up wrong? No, I got it right. So I don't know. Would efficiency matter that much though? What if later on you need to add more stuff into it? Might be a bit harder to do when you compress it. Well, we don't need to add, there can never really be more tiles than this for a given size. Because this is every permutation of this tile, kind of regardless of what it's got. So this is how much, you know, these are all the permutations of a single tile. You can't really get more than this. If in here, let's say we wanted to add alternative colorings, we would need to just keep adding to this. And that's where the efficiency, I think you'd really notice. So like Because like when we're drawing something, we already have like 3 different color formats. Which again, you could cheat and have like a palette thing and not necessarily need to have that thing 3 times or whatever, or however many times. But there's some cheat. Whoa, what's going on over here? Oh, it's because I'm running both autotilers. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore what's going on down there. But yeah, here we have 3 different colors corresponding to exterior, interior, and like entombed or middle hull. So like that means 3 sets of these. Because right now we could cheat and just keep them flat and not actually need to do that. And like have some kind of palette swapping thing instead. But that's not really, that doesn't really capture the worst case scenario. So yeah, for each of these color sets, what there are 3, there's the dark gray here, there's the mid-tone gray on the outside, and there's the light tone gray on the inside. You could take some shortcuts here, but assuming that these were all textured, and they were textured in such a way that they were differently textured for whether they were the edges of things or not. Like you could imagine a different texture along all the edges of this that's like maybe rusted or like whatever, I don't know, whatever you want to do. In that case, if you actually have unique textures for every edge piece, then you do need another set of these. You need a whole nother set of this. And so this is 1024 by 256, this whole thing, right? Whereas this thing here, we could probably pack this in a little more efficiently, but this is still huge by comparison. So in my mind, it makes sense to map this to something more efficient, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I kind of don't want to. And maybe we don't need to because graphics cards are so huge that we're never going to run into like a memory, like a texture limit. Even if we do like incredibly inefficient packing like this. So I don't know. I'm just trying to decide how to manage this translation. So what I've done at the moment, which is what I was kind of describing, was I've written out this mapping in JSON, in a JSON file that's like stored along with this tile map atlas, so that you know how this map atlas gets mapped onto. The problem is, you could imagine a world where this mapping is different for different things. Actually, maybe this mapping isn't different. Maybe this is a universal mapping. Again, it's your point about what if you change this, or what if you describe it differently, or what if you whatever, which is kind of why I wanted to write this tile map atlas's layout explicitly in like a file that's stored along with the atlas texture. Just so in case the format changes in the future, this one could still technically work. You're going to lurk for a bit? No worries. Still needs work. Take it easy. Appreciate the sub for you hanging out today on this fine Saturday. We're going to be mostly struggling today. This is going to be a low-key kind of struggle bus kind of episode. The thing I'm tempted to do for now is to not do this. I know we spent a ton of work on this compression. And we are saving quite a bit of space. Like this is about 3 times smaller than this is. It's actually probably a lot smaller than 3 times smaller. So like what if we added up all of these regions? So like this area is about Nix, in 4 days, your new mod has 423 unique visitations and 113 subscribers. It's a nice 27% conversion rate. Yeah, that's really good. The mods must grow. All right, so this is 256 by 400. And then this one is 256 by 32. So this is by 432. So we could fit this into, well, could we fit this into a 1024 if I was more efficient about the way I stored this here? Because we're losing about 3 pixels per, we're wasting about 3 pixels per row. And there's 25 rows. That's only 75. That's not enough to bring us down to 1024. So yeah, I don't think we can pack this in particularly efficiently if we leave it in this format. So I feel like we do need a conversion. And I feel like it is a good idea for each tile map atlas to tell you what the conversion is. Like how you convert from here to here. Fusionist, it's sprite packing time. Yeah, Fusionist, that's what we're working on, because this is the format that the autotiler expects. And then this is the format that, you know, it actually ends up being in. So I've started making little JSON files that describe the conversion. Technically, it describes the conversion from this to this, which is not the direction that we want, but it's the direction that's easy to describe in a JSON file. I'm just hemming and hawing about how I want to do that, because it's kind of annoying. That means we need to have some kind of registry of all the different formats that we build and maintain for each ship or whatever. So I kind of don't want to do it this. I wish I could just leave it in this format. There's something else. Also, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. I still need to do my Down to Jam theme voting. Theme elimination round. I'm going to do that maybe like towards the end of the stream. Couldn't you leave it in the format? Are you expecting mega large scales? I'm tempted to leave it in this format and just eat the cost. This format is about 3 to 4 times more expensive probably in terms of space, but that's still small, right? And for like modern hardware, like who cares if this is a 1024 by 1024 instead of a 1024 by 256, right? Like, do we really care? Are we really caring about that for a 2D game that has no, like, arguably no geometry to it? It's just like these little tile sprite atlases. You could always eat the cost and code it in a way that makes it easy to insert a packed sheet later. Yeah, if we do, the thing is, that's the thing that I guess I'm not sure about, which maybe we just omit it for now. The indie optimize later mindset. Yeah, optimize later. Yeah. I should do this. My dad was an engineer, and he always would tell me he would always repeat to me the phrase like good enough for now is often good enough to ship. And I'm hearing his voice tell me that right now. Of like, why don't we just do the thing that's good enough for now, and then maybe it'll be good enough to ship. And then if we come up with a tool that makes it easy to pack these in later, maybe that's when we do that. You never worked with a packer before. It could be interesting to see. Yeah, the thing I'm annoyed about is it's not really easy to describe this packing. I've done it by just writing out a little JSON file that just has the groupings for these, because these are grouped in 4s, but it's just a description of like, here's the atlas chords that correspond to this point in the tile map atlas. Like so if the autotiler calls 12.1 is interested in Atlas chord 12.1, it would map to this index of this array. So obviously we would need to take this and build a dictionary from this, because this is the only way I could figure out how to write this in JSON. Because key value pair, the keys of a key value pair has to be a string. And you can't just, I could stringify these Atlas chords and like parse them, but like, I don't really want to do that. Then I could at least build the dictionary in here, but I don't want to maintain this stuff, you know? They did a lot of that sort of wizardry Factorio. Maybe I should look at how Factorio does that stuff. Because I'm just trying stuff right now, and I'm not well pleased with what I've ended up with. Yeah, I'm tempted to just forget about optimizing this right now and just build out my tile atlases in this format, in this super inefficient form. I mean, I could probably make this a little better. I could probably organize this a little smarter so that it's a little less wasteful. Like, let me check out the size of this thing here. So this is 128 by 400. Is there a chance I can fit this in here? Like, if I could fit the half walls inside of this one, then, like, that's not actually that bad. Yeah, so this is 128 by 400. So I could do cheeky things like I could, you know, take this part and nest it into this unused space. And then I could take, you know, this stuff and, like, nest it into here. However, so, like, we could find a way. You're going to grab a link to a nice read about this? Cool. That'd be cool. Factorio used a packer, but the mapping output was probably more of a bitmap or binary file to cut down even further on performance. Several packers even. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. That sounds awesome. You can post it here in the chat or in the, like, the Game Dev Resources channel on the Discord. Time for the plug. Time to plug the Discord. You'll do both? Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, I kind of want to punt on this for now because I kind of don't want to bother. Here's something else that I'm concerned about. So the reason this map is so sparse is because I only included unique textures. Also, I'm going to stop showing this version of it. I'm going to show the solid color version. It's like hurting my eyes. Here's another concern that I have. So I've removed non-unique textures. So, like, the thing about this one, so this texture, let's unlock these, I guess. So if you move this texture down one, so like if you add another Y coordinate to this, you just get the same texture again, right? It's not unique. It's just the same thing again. So, like, I omitted it here. The thing that I'm concerned about and that I'm not 100% sure of is, will the autotiler, because it's building the X and the Y, it's determining the X and the Y coordinates separately, will the autotiler always, if it's trying to draw this kind of a tile, will it always converge on this? Or is it possible that, like, it could land on a non-unique? I'm concerned that it is very possible that it could land on a non-unique. Why aren't we undoing all of the things that I did here? There we go. So yeah, that's another deep concern I have, is that I actually kind of jumped the gun. I guess that'll be easy to test. So maybe what we do is let's just set it up with this version for now. And then we'll test with this version. Hey, Arnold. How's it going? Hanging out on the YouTube side, I see. So yeah, I'm concerned that the autotiler might like, maybe it's like X plus 2, and then it's like Y plus 2, and it ends up here. And there is no unique tile here. What would this tile even look like, technically? Yeah, I don't think we can reach this. So, because this one represents the missing upper right coordinate, or upper right corner. And that having a missing upper right corner here is insane, because it means that there shouldn't be a dot here, and yet there's a whole ass line here. So part of me is like, no, you'll never... The autotiler will only reach unique coordinates, but that is like a presumption, not like a fact. That is a hypothesis that I should probably test. And I bet if it fails, it's going to fail in a way that's really hard to see or describe. So maybe we build a test atlas in this format. And we just don't worry about the inefficiencies. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. I did have a lot of cups of coffee this morning. It's time for some water. So yeah, I'm concerned. I feel like this one, this is obviously good in terms of this is packed in here. It's packed in real nice. But I think it's just gonna be a kind of a pain in the ass to use. Because the thing is, we're balancing these conflicting pressures. One pressure is like, obviously you want to be kind of reasonably efficient in terms of how much space your textures take up. Like, you want to pack this stuff in efficiently. But on the other hand, we want to make it easy to make the art, and we want to make it understandable. This is not easy to understand, this layout. This layout is incredibly arbitrary. It's a little easier to understand this layout because it's based on this Minecraft layout, where this is the white outlines here kind of represent the logic behind it, where you've got solid white outlines represent a solid edge, and then these little arrows represent corners. So there is like a logic to the way that this part is laid out. But the problem is I extended this logic from this version over here, but it's a lot more complicated. So maybe we don't do that. I like how efficient this is, though. This is nice. It's nice, it's efficient. It's got some extra room in case you want an extra set of these. If you want to actually have the floor pieces look different than the wall pieces. So you would just, if you were going to do that, you would just do something like this. Well, need to fix the grid. You do something like that. And there's even some extra space left over, but only because we compressed this down. If we expanded this to be 32, it would not be compressed like this. So I don't know. I'm a little torn. Oh, here's the link. All right, let's check this out. Necessary cookies only, please. All right, can we read this? Not really. That's better. All right, this is a good read. It's from an 11-year-old question. Game Dev Stack Exchange. Is this from... Who is this written by? Oh, this is from the Factorio devs. Oh, sick. Sick. Oh, this is great content. Thank you. Thank you, Fusionist. I'm going to read this because maybe we'll figure something out. And honestly, I don't have anything better to do this stream. I really want to answer this question. All right, so we have a bunch of random answers. We have this. This answer is good. And it's the chosen answer. So yeah, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Maybe this gives us an idea for how we want to do this. All right. I'm going to read this out first. All right. Let me get my reading voice ready. All right. How do we solve big video memory requirements in a 2D game? We are developing a 2D game, Factorio. You might have heard of it. In Allegro, C, C++. And we are facing a problem with increasing video memory requirements as the game content increases. We currently gather all the info about images that are going to be used first, crop all of these images as much as possible, and organize them into big atlases as tightly as possible. These atlases are stored in video memory, the size of which depends on the system limitations. Currently is usually 2 images of up to 8192 by 8192, so 8 by 8. 8 by 8 big ones. So they require 256 megabytes to 512 megabytes of video memory. Oh man, wait. 2 images. So 8192 by 8192 becomes 256 megabytes. Megabits of video memory. Okay, that's a little less scary. Oh, hold on, hold your horses. We got someone we can ban over in the chat. We got a spam bot. I love this. Go ahead. Make my day.
He's dead, Jim.
You got there. You got there first this time, Nix. I feel like you might have pressed the button before I even banned them, just to make sure you were first. You're on time, yeah. On time and on target. The song is sick. You pressed it like 2 seconds before. Nice. Oh, the song is Shark Tsunami by James Flamestar. I like this. All right. Oh, I wanted to do some napkin math here. So each color has like 4 bytes. I'm going to measure 1024 because that makes more sense to me. So 1024 by 1024. Okay, so by my reckoning, a 1024 by 1024 texture only takes about 4 KB. That's not that bad. I might not be doing the math correctly. But this is an enormous image by my reckoning. I'm not going to think about the memory. I'm going to just take them at their word that they've done the math. All right, let's get back to this. So they're doing their own little packing and stuff. The system works pretty good for us, as with some custom optimizations and splitting. The render and update thread, we are able to draw tens of thousands of images on the screen in 60 FPS. We have many objects on the screen, and allowing a big zoom out is a critical requirement. Oh yeah, Factorio has a huge zoom out. I feel like I play the vast majority of that game zoomed out to max. I might play that today. I've been wanting a game to like really dig into. I've been only playing short games lately. I really want like a big game to dig into. I'm concerned about the time. Hey, Adagon, Zoomtorio. Yeah, exactly. How's it going? I've still got to do my theme elimination. Have I tried the Factorio Space Age? No, I've watched some. I've seen the spoilers. I've watched some friends play it. I'm in the middle of a game now, which is like a classic Factorio game. That's like a Death World, Rail World situation, and it's like pre-Space Age. And I kind of want to finish that game before I play Space Age, because I think when I play Space Age, I'd play just a regular game, like no crazy modifications, like not my Death World, Rail World thing. But Factorio's weird, and I kind of actually dislike games that do this. Factorio does the thing where it offloads the like scenario design to the player, because there's so many little dials and settings and stuff that you can change. So it's kind of like your job to come up with the scenario that you want to play once you start to get a feel for the game and an opinion about like what you want to do. So I've settled into this like kind of low tech, I would call it a low evolution, low resources kind of game, but like high biter count. So it's just like this crazy Death World where there's just like tons of biters at low evolution, and the resources are spread out really far. So you have these long supply chains and lots of defensive walls and turrets. And it's kind of fun, but it's very much like a weird version of the game. So I feel like when I play Space Age, I will just play stock Factorio, and it'll feel weird, but it'll be fine because I'll be going to all these other planets that I don't know about. Arneo, the scale problem keeps popping up. Yeah, I'm deciding whether I care enough about this to take my autotiler formatted texture map, which is like really space inefficient, and pack it down into this version, which is incredibly space efficient, but like hard to understand. And there's a conversion step that needs to be made. And I'm kind of annoyed at this from like an asset creation standpoint. I'm kind of annoyed at this thing, and I kind of am tempted to just try this out. But Fusionist raised this great old thread that I swear I've read before sometime in the last 11 years and 4 months. But we're reading this to think about this, to think about the long-term effects of this. Fusionist, if I enjoyed the original System Shock, you could vouch for its remake. You absolutely loved it. Yeah, a nice story game is tempting. I'm really not a story game guy. Like sometimes I'll be able to sit down and like get through a story game in a weekend or whatever, and if I can, great. If not, I like fall off them so quickly. Like I'm like partway into Avowed. I'm like partway into some other stuff. I have all these big RPGs installed on my computer and on my Xbox and stuff, and I just don't get through them. I like can't make it through these single player games. I just lose interest at a point. But if it's something short like System Shock, which I remember being relatively short, maybe I could power through that. This is a post they shared in one of their blog update posts. Oh, I'm sure. This is one that made it around. But yeah, we're just thinking about this because Factorio is a great case of like large scale 2D graphics requirements. So I just want to hear them think through this problem. Yeah, so they're concerned about the video memory requirements eventually. I am a little bit as well. Hey, Matthew Sparks, how's it going? Happy Saturday. So they're thinking about some alternative. So one of the things they wanted to try is to have one atlas with the most common images, and the second is a cache. The images would be moved from there, from the memory bitmap on demand. Oh, that's kind of clever. There are two problems with this approach. Drawing from memory bitmap to video bitmap is painfully slow in Allegro. It is not possible to work with video bitmap in other than the main thread in Allegro, so it is practically unusable. So this seems like some platform-specific issues that some additional requirements. The game must be deterministic, so performance issues, loading times can never alter the game state. It's important. Game is real-time and soon to be multiplayer. We need to avoid even the smallest stutter at all costs. I don't really have this concern. Most of the game is one continuous open world. That is a serious concern. I'm going to read the rest of their test and then go on to some of the answers. Plays like a dungeon crawler. Story's a great bonus. Yeah, that could be fun. That could be fun to play the remake of System Shock. But yeah, I'm looking for something meaty. I don't think I'll eventually do it. I think the best is that maybe I'll hop into Factorio for a few hours today, because the other thing is I just don't have time. The test consisted of drawing 10,000 sprites. I also don't always feel creative when I'm playing a game like Factorio. Probably because I'm spending most of my time making a game in like real life, and that fulfills a lot of that desire to create systems and things. So when I end up playing games, I'm like, I don't want to work on my factory die or whatever. The test consisted of drawing 10,000 sprites in a batch for sizes from 1x1 to 300x300, several times for every configuration. You did the tests on the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 760. Now, if that isn't a blast from the past. Yeah. Matthew, you and I are of one mind. I actually have a computer that I booted up because I needed an extra work computer here. And I took my old computer, which has a 1060 in it. It's still fine. It's powering like a 1440p monitor. And for like regular workloads, and not only a 1440p monitor, but a drawing tablet with a display. And it's doing okay. So some of those old cards still hold up for, basic workloads. Fusionist, you've been looking for action in your games these days and sandbox elements that you've yet to recreate in your own projects. Video bitmap to video bitmap. I don't totally understand what they mean by video bitmap. I guess they're talking about their video memory, like the VRAM. I think that's what they're talking about. The memory bitmap is like pulling it from like RAM or something. I don't know. Me not understanding the render pipeline is probably going to make it hard for me to make any sense of this. So the solution that they're describing is using the VRAM as like a buffer and being more and kind of moving things inside the buffer. So they're actually kind of creating their own tile map atlas at runtime out of the things that they need, which is interesting. That's an interesting approach. I don't feel like this does anything for us. So they improved performance by a factor of 5. That's pretty good. All right, what is this person talking about? So there's someone who was making an RTS. I don't know what CAM stands for. Knights and Monsters or something? I don't remember. Bitmap might just be the image format here. Yeah, that's true. That might be just the image format. Knights and Merchants, that's it. I was like, I don't remember. The runtime tilemap atlas situation you described was how you were understanding? Okay. So we're either both understanding or both misunderstanding the same way. Yeah, using VRAM as like a buffer. Yeah, that sounds like what they're doing here. And they're very specifically loading up only what they need, and they're rewriting it. And they're being very efficient. So the shape of their solution is going to be different than ours because we have this autotiler, which is where the complication is coming through. Split your sprites pool. So what are these people talking about? I'm tempted to do the shader paletted code thing. That would already work pretty good for our use case. I just don't want to think about that right now. This is a really good read. Bin packing algorithms. So we could try to introduce some kind of highly automated intermediary so that we can do this kind of packing without me having to like manually set it up. But so this person recommends using more smaller texture atlases, and that's closer to our use case. This is kind of more representative of the situation we'd run into. We'd have texture atlases around 1024 by 1024, and we'd have some dozens or 100 of them or something. So it's easier for us to swap in and out textures. Oh, it's video memory because they're animated sprites. Is that what they're talking about? I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. There's some interesting little bits in here. I think I need to go through this with a finer tooth comb. If you're gonna pack, you must automate it. Ideally, you have a little pipeline that auto packs your stuff based on simple constraints and outputs a JSON. Performance is less of a major concern than efficiency. Yeah, so that's the thing that I'm getting frustrated with, Fusionist, is I basically hand packing these just to decide on a format. Because obviously we could automate the packing process. That's not the part that I'm concerned about. The part that I'm annoyed about is the indirection that we introduce when we pack it like this, because I can't really write the autotiler to build out the atlas coordinates based on this final version. So the autotiler can't think about things in the packed way because it doesn't let us build each atlas coordinate separately or determine each atlas coordinate separately, which is the process of, you know, saying, okay, so depending on which of the vertical outlines we either want to keep or omit, we will change the x coordinate of the atlas coords, right? So we'll pick the one that makes sense for us on this xy or on this x-axis, and then for the quote-unquote horizontal outlines, which are the outlines at the top and the bottom, as well as the corners, we'll update the y coordinate. And that's what leads to this structure, which is this is how like the autotiler thinks about it. This kind of tree, like little weird little this triangle like structure. And so this is how the autotiler thinks. And so if we need any kind of lookup, it needs to be a lookup from this sparse map to the dense map. And I've already figured out what that is, and I've been writing it out. So like So the lookup, I've been writing it in reverse because of the way JSON works. So here I have, so this first group, the bulk X full. This is an array. You can see the nulls. The nulls match the empty spaces in the packed map. So it's an array that matches this structure. I should actually put 4 nulls on at the end, shouldn't I? I don't need to, but I'm going to so that it's consistent. And so, and then each element is, this is the Atlas coord. So we can build a dictionary by just reversing the structure, by inverting it. So that we have key value pairs where the key is the Atlas coord and the value is the index in this array. And so we can build a dictionary here. I'm just thinking about what if different tile map atlases have different mappings. Then we need to build these out. It's kind of annoying. Fusionist, your assumption is that they send the images to VRAM so that the GPU calls can pull parts of the texture that much faster, but maybe VRAM just gets used naturally when you're calling draw and sampling those large images. Fusionist, honestly, looking at your process on the graphics since a while ago now, it feels like time invested in procedurally generating your textures and packing them would be beneficial. Ardzal, you'll be drawing way more tiles, each with their 100 variations over time, right? Yeah, I haven't been worrying about the packing part yet, because at the moment, all of these things are very similar. Like at the moment, all we have are cubes. So I've just been concerned with coming up with what is the final structure that we have? And the starting structure. Like what do we start with when we create the asset? And what do we end up with when we feed it into the autotiler? And then we can work out the connective tissue that gets you from one to the other. Early on, I was putting too much maybe emphasis on the art creation part of it and less on like what does the final pieces look like, which is why we're focused on that right now. And this just seems kind of like a pain in the ass. So the way I'm thinking about this, so what if we have a different format? And we have multiple formats on the same tile map. So like the tile map has multiple atlases that it's using. Those atlases have different formats. When we do the autotiler part, or somewhere after the autotiler part, we need to be able to redirect from the autotiler's mapping to the texture map atlas mapping. And if those different atlases have different mappings, then we need to maintain like dictionaries for each possible mapping. So maybe what we do is we like hard code a set of mappings, and then we just associate different atlases with those mappings, and we just do the lookup. And we can store those mappings wherever. Right now I have them in a JSON file because I wanted them to live next to the associated texture map atlas. But maybe that's not correct. Maybe the formats should live somewhere else, and then you just reference a format. I don't know. That seems not good either. Ads here? Yeah, no worries. There's some different approaches we could take to this. I'm just getting kind of annoyed at... So the thing that started today, that I started the day off thinking about was, okay, I've written some of these out. I need to write a few more, but I can do that. I've written out the bulk ones. And so what we need to do is in some kind of system, when the game either loads or at some point before we need to draw anything, like when we're loading content for use by the systems, we need to build out these formats. Should I have just written these as like, should I have just written it like this instead. Was this a stupid way to write it? Should I have actually just bitten the bullet? Bitten the bullet? No one says that. Should I have just, you know, gotten a bite of that bullet and just set these up as... So instead of doing it this way, I could have written it as a dictionary of like bulk x full. And then I could have just written it as like 0, 0 is 0. I think I have to write it like this. I'm not like a JSON expert, but I'm pretty sure this is how you would do it if you wanted to do it as a dictionary. Is it not like this? Oh, I need to put the... something like this. Where you just have stuff like this. I didn't want to write it this way, with like a stringified vector as the key. I thought it was easier to store in its inverted form in this array mapping. But then we just need to load this and build a dictionary out of this array. Bitten the pillow. Bited the bullet. Bit the bullet. Yeah, it's... Nobody says this. Yeah, so the way I've encoded this is in reverse. I mentioned it, but I'll just mention it again. So this is an array that is a representation of this packed set of sprites. And then the elements of this array are the atlas coords that correspond to this version. And so what we could do is we could just go through the JSON file and build a dictionary out of the array. So we can go through here and we can say, okay, here's the atlas coord. This is the key for a dictionary, for a key value pair. The key is the atlas coord here, and the value is just the index in the array. That would work. That would work. Because then the autotiler could just give us the atlas coord that it wants, and then we just map it for the given. This format could be pretty stable too. Like we could just keep using this format for pretty much anything. I tried to make this format in such a way that it would be relatively future-proof. Obviously, I can't make that guarantee, which is part of the reason why I wanted to store the format next to the relevant tilemap atlas. I'm just kind of annoyed at having to maintain these dictionaries. I'm not quite sure where I want to maintain them or how many of them I want to maintain. Like, do I want to maintain one of these for every single... I feel like we're going to have like a few formats. Like this will just be the bulk X full format, and a bunch of textures will use this format for its bulk X's. Like this would be a standard format that we only have to store once. I guess that should be our operating presumption, is that this is a format that we're going to use for everything. And we'll just store this format once on the tile system, so we can just be kind of stupid and prepare it on the ready function. So we can prepare a bunch of these. This would be bulk Z full map. And then we also need a bulk Z half map. So I guess if there's only one format for each type, that's not that bad. That's just 9 dictionaries to maintain. My concern is when we have more than one of these. Like if we come up with something that has a different format. I'm kind of concerned. But I don't think we will. I think I thought about it. I'm trusting past Dave to have done the work. Here's the thing that really made me nervous, though. This is the thing that's making me concerned, and we talked about it a little earlier. What if the autotiler doesn't only map to unique tiles? What if the autotiler might, because the X and Y are being determined separately, is it possible for the autotiler to map to a non-unique tile, which is being omitted? So like this blank space here, you know? Is this possible? Is it possible that that might happen? If it is, then we have a bigger problem. If it is possible for the autotiler to be like, okay, I want X equals 4 and Y equals 2, and then we come down here and we're like, oh, there's nothing here. Because if that's possible, then I need to do the even more tedious thing of drawing this whole thing out, including non-unique textures, and then figure out all of the mappings from here to there. And that I really don't want to do. I guess we just need to see if that's true. Because I can't think of a test that would tell me, like, a priori. I guess it wouldn't be a test then. I can't think of a principle that tells me a priori that this doesn't happen. Is there a reason that I think I could safely say this doesn't occur? Part of me is thinking that, like, yeah, this won't happen because the test that tells us to go down to this layer here, to go down to this row, is that, hey, I've looked around and I don't think we need a corner. If the autotiler is like, hey, I don't need this corner, it will kick us down to this offset, and it will be like, no corner here, please. But I don't think we can do that. I don't think we'll ever hit that if the final result is this, which is I think what happens if we just extend this down here. So like this is the non-unique tile that goes here. It's this one. And I don't think that autotiler would ever get to this point. Oh, I put this too low. I don't think we can ever be in a situation where this would happen, but I don't know that for sure, right? I'm a little concerned about it. Hey, Exodus Forever. How's it going? Welcome in. Is there a way to reduce the state space so you don't need to fill it all out? Well, see, that's the question. Is whether this state space is even traversable, right? Like whether we can ever get to this point. So the reason why we get here is because we're controlling X and Y separately. So Y plus 1 means get rid of the outline here at the top. Y plus 2 means get rid of the outline at the top and get rid of the corner in the upper right. So those things are being determined separately from the x-axis, which is just determining, hey, get rid of this outline here, get rid of this outline here, or get rid of both of them here. So it's, you know, +1 or +2, or +1 and +2, which gives us +3. So they're being determined separately. And my concern is that it's possible that you might map onto a non-unique texture or a non-unique tile, which I've omitted. Automate this, automate this. So I must have been the wind. Yeah, we will automate this, Fusionist. But we need to decide how. Or we need to be sure that this is the right path here. Proving a negative is hard. Yeah, I think I just need to test it. I think I just need to presume that we can't do this. Although yeah, I think we just need to test it. I don't know how else to determine whether it's possible. But yeah, that would make this much harder because that would mean there are multiple atlas coordinates that map to the same sprite ultimately. And again, welcome Exodus Forever. I hope you're having a good weekend here. We're working on Digital Iliad, an isometric 2D FTL-like game in Godot. And we have a brand new tile atlas. We have a brand new texture format we're trying to use. And we're just working on it. So I think what I should do is I should just try to load up these mappings into these dictionaries. Presume there's only ever going to be one of them. Dragonfax, this looks cool. Thank you. Welcome in as well. How's it going? I can show you kind of how the tool works currently, which might give you a better idea of what we're trying to do. Actually, what I should do first is I should disable this testing branch here. This thing. Get out of here. Exodus, you just tuned in. You think you followed me back during Game Jam? Yeah, cool. Let me see. Oh, I think you followed me during my last failed Ludum Dare Game Jam, the one I crashed out of back in the spring. But welcome back. Hope you've been having a great summer so far. So here's our autotiler tool currently as it works with the current sets. So we've made this tool to build out these 3D spaces and render them in 2D. But our tilemap atlas is incomplete. It doesn't cover all cases. So I've made a new format that does, but it's more complicated. So, and it requires some degree of indirection. But yeah, so we can currently make these like 3D spaces here. And fill them out here with walls and doors and all the things you would need in a space. There's a compartmentalization system that can tell when you've made a compartment, which is why the autotiler has changed colors. I can place some doors and stuff. So we're trying to wrap up this tool so we can get to like building out the simulation layer. But I wanted to expand the autotiler first. This is kind of the stuff that we've got so far here. But yeah, there's some gaps. You can kind of tell the most obvious gap, it has to do with some half wall stuff. Like if I select this stuff and then I cut this wall in half, there's some missing outlines here because the autotiler can't handle that case. It's having some issues with half walls. It also has issues with corners, but it's really hard for me to demo the corner problem. But know that it's there. Trust me that there's a problem. You've done a 2D autotiler, but this looks insane. Yeah, this one's a little much. It's very detailed. And yeah, so when you break out the 2D autotiler, you get this tree. Or it's not a tree. I mean, I guess you could describe this as a tree, but you get this structure. And this is how the autotiler thinks of space, the way I described earlier, where it's like, it figures out where we should be along the x-axis, and then it figures out where we should be along the y-axis, and that combination should fall on a unique tile. So all the tiles I've drawn are totally unique. There's some unique combination of edges, corners. So this is more complicated than the last iteration, quite a bit. And because this is such a large space here, I thought the smart thing to do would be to compress this and pack it into a texture atlas that's more packed in. It's more dense. I call this the sparse map here because it's like the sparse version of this. And there's a more dense version of it here. So like this whole left section maps onto this whole top left section. And we have like a JSON file that describes that mapping along one direction. It maps from the dense map to the sparse map. And so what I'm thinking is we need the tile system to load this up and then build the sparse map to dense map direction out of this, which this one is the reverse of that because it's easier to represent the reverse in JSON. The thing is, if multiple atlas coordinates map onto the same index, that becomes a lot harder to describe this way. It's not impossible, because we could just have an array. We could just put this in an array and put like multiple values in here. But like, I don't want to do that. But we could, I guess, if we had to. Hey, Skywalk, what's up? How's it going? Happy Saturday. So yeah, I'm kind of just agonizing over this. I think let's just move forward with what we've already got, which is to get the tile system to build the dictionary out of this thing. The thing is, I don't want to hard code this, but I'm going to. I need to hard code some kind of reference to the path here. Where do I want to do that? I probably should make it an export variable. Just so I can plug it into the editor. I might just hard code the path right now. No, I should not. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. Skywalk, you're not up to much. You added so much bloat to your project, which is looking good. You're running into performance issues. Yeah, all the lighting and stuff you're doing looks really great. You got to refactor. Time to optimize. Yeah, so you can bloat it more. Yeah, that's it. You overstep, then you, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's the way. That is the way. You got to optimize it so you can add even more stuff. So let's open the engine and decide how we want to structure this. All right, so we've got our game object here. So right now our texture format is in here. I should probably rename this something else, like tilemap atlas format, and just have this be the one format. Just have one hard-coded format, pack format. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rename this packed atlas format, and I'm going to move it somewhere. Where do I want to put it? Maybe I'll just put it in tile for now. I'm really concerned about making this in a way that's like totally unintelligible to anyone looking at it. Oh, where did I move it to? It's gone. Oh, it's here. Where's here? Oh, it's under hull. It's not where I wanted to put it. I'm going to put it under tile. All right, so we've described the packed atlas format. This file is gone. So what happens if I double click this here? Oh, I can edit this directly in GD in the engine. That's great. That's great. I was having a hard time editing this in I really don't like this color scheme though. This is really obnoxious to read, this gray null. But it's right in here, so that's good. Right now I only have part of these. I'm gonna have to write out the rest of these soon. So what we just need to do is we need to load these. I'm just gonna store these here in like an export file. So let me look at the docs here for a second. I haven't had to do this in C# yet. Let's look at the C# API. How's everyone doing today? Any fun weekend plans? Godot API for C#. Exported properties. So it's just, I just export tag it. I think I do eventually want to have support for other formats so that somebody, like a modder or whatever who's making their own texture could also include their own format. I think that's a little stupid to support something like that. Oh, an export variable can be private. That's cool in C#. I just want their path such that I can open them. Let's start this the easy way. Let's just add a value. Let's say export, and let's say public string. We can call it packed atlas format. That's not really going to be nullable, is it? And then here, we'll rebuild. So I can see my export variable here. Packed atlas format. And so can I just drop this in here? Oh, it's just a string. I actually want it to be a resource? Question mark? Actually not quite sure how to tell the system about this. I don't want to hard code it. I don't want to hard code like a file path. Let's look back here. API differences to Godot. I don't want functions. I'm looking for... Maybe it isn't exported properties here. Any type of resource or node can be exported. I don't think a JSON file counts as a resource. Strings as path. Export property hint dot file. Oh, I can give it yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want a hint that it's a file path. Property hint dot file. Get set. don't know if I want to be able to set this. Actually, maybe I do. I don't know, whatever. So when I rebuild this, what do I see? Okay, so now the editor is smart, and now I can just point it to a particular file here. Environment, tile, packed atlas format. Open. Okay, cool. So I've got my little file path. So I should be able to open this. We need some kind of config file thing as a longer term workaround here, but I don't care enough to do something like that right now. Nix, why is it so hard to mod Project Zomboid with Java? Yeah, I don't know if that's Project Zomboid's fault or Java's fault, honestly. How's it going with me? It's okay. Oh, thanks for the game. You sent me the Dawn of War Definitive Edition, didn't you? I looked at that and I was like, neat. And then I moved on with my day. Or wait, who sent me that? Someone sent me that. Someone sent me that game recently. I don't know who sent it to me, but I'm going to double check. I need to thank them. It wasn't you. No, it wasn't you. I've been looking at that game. That game is such a nostalgic blast from the past. I watched someone stream it for a minute, and all of the voice cues... I didn't mean to open that. All of the voice cues of the unit dialogue, it like hit me like a truck. Like just a nostalgia truck. It was so good. All right, so what do I want to do to actually use this? Should I call this something else like Atlas format path or something like that? Whatever, who cares? So if I wanted to use this, I want to use like JSON here. Let's look at our JSON stuff. So there's a JSON helper class. It's not going to be written in C#. This is probably going to be really annoying to use. Let's look at the global scope C# stuff here. Sorry that I'm a little scattered today. I was like, I want to go live today, but I also don't want to do any preparation. I really don't have days off right now. Which is why I felt the need to like take a few days to like disconnect from something, which the thing I have control over is like game development. But yeah, I'm working on the weekends at my day job, which is rough. Hopefully that's going to end soon. It looks like that might end as soon as September. But it's really impacting my ability to like prepare. Not that I'm great at preparing for the streams anyway, but I do feel like I've been remiss a little bit. All right, C# global classes. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Thought this would tell me a little bit more. Oh, this is about using a globe. I see. API differences. Let's look up JSON. String extensions. So where's parse? I don't see parse anywhere. Nix, you didn't think I'd be live today, as I said I wouldn't be online. Yeah, I wanted to come back because, you know, you want to juice the algorithm a little bit. There's an amount of time that you can... I find that YouTube is okay, is reasonable with me. is reasonable as long as I like upload like once or twice, like a couple times a week. So you just gotta, you know, you gotta pump the algorithm a little bit. So I was like, I gotta go live today. System.io.path. Okay. This could be what we want, because what we're trying to do is we're doing some stuff with the JSON file in C#, and I'm just not quite sure. Performs operations on strings that contain file or path directory information. Yeah, okay. So these are resource path files. So is this going to be okay with me here? Methods. No, so we have the path. So I don't think we need any of these. File paths and Godot projects. Yeah, so we have learn how to access paths in your projects using the res and user notations. Accessing files in the project folder. Not really concerned with user data. We'll have to start making decisions about that eventually here. So, am I going to have a problem with this? I'm going to go back to asking about JSON directly here. Maybe I'll add JSON C#. Nope. I'll just look at the JSON stuff. Oh, JSON is a resource here. Okay, that's good. Because it makes a variant. This is what I don't want to do. Maybe I just use the C. Maybe I just ignore Godot. I just grab the file path. That's the thing I'm a little concerned about, is I need to like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this path. I need to get the data first. Because I don't want to build a variant. What's my C# JSON utility here? System.text.json. Okay. So we've got a converter. You know, I don't know if I can figure all of this out right now. We might end up, you know what we might do right now is we might just finish building the JSON file, and then I'll do some research on how I want to actually work with it in the system. But I think that's the path that we're going to do for now, is we're just going to have one kind of format. We're going to support one kind of format. And if in the future it seems like we need multiple formats, we will burn that bridge when we get there. But I think for now, I'm just going to go with a single format. Sorry, I'm muted. Hey, Insane Alpha Beta. Welcome to the chat. You're saying every time you see people deciding to try to make an RPG as their game, those poor souls. RPG, in some ways, that seems very hard, and in other ways, that seems like a very clear scaffolding and structure that you can understand. Oh, their first game. Yeah. Again, I think it can be easy because you can just get you could just download RPG Maker or whatever, right? I guess it depends on what you're trying to learn. Because if you just want to make content and you just want to make, I like Dragon Quest, but I want to make it like this instead. I think that's cool, but I definitely know a lot of people who start with something like, I don't want to say a lot, but I've known the problem with starting with something like RPG Maker or whatever is like as soon as you want to do your own thing, it's like really hard. You got to figure all that out. So yeah, that is definitely a hard choice as their first game. What we're making here though is an isometric 2D FTL-like game. So I wouldn't call it an RPG, more of like a roguelike style space management game. Hard to categorize, which is why I just call it an FTL-like, so that if you know FTL, you can be like, oh, I get it. Trying to save myself the trouble of having the roguelike versus roguelite argument. Insane Alpha, Beta, true. You've seen people being like, I'm gonna make a Skyrim-like RPG, and it almost always falls apart because they don't know how to limit scope. You've never played FTL, but you always wanted to. You just never got around to it. You should. It's a classic. During a Steam sale, you can probably get it for like $5. It's a classic. Yeah, we're making an FTL-like game. We are scaling it up a little bit, so we're slowing it down. So it's definitely got some more. It seems like it's gonna have maybe more of like a RimWorld style pacing, because we're not really gonna be able to have everything visible on screen all the time. So there's gonna be a lot more bouncing around to different areas, and I think that requires you to slow it down a lot because it's a real-time game like FTL. So we're definitely gonna add some different elements to it depending on how that feels. Kind of slower pacing. The art looks great. Thanks. It's my art. Yeah, this is not my first game by that strict nomenclature. But this is my first time doing pixel art, and I'm really enjoying it so far. We haven't gotten to do a lot of it. We've been doing a lot of systems design. We're working on a tool. We're working on an editor tool. I can show you a little about it. To build these 3D spaces and render them in 2D. It's got a bunch of elements. It's got a block editor. It's got a cutaway system. It's got an autotiler to draw things for us. What was my first? Jam games. A lot of jam games. In Godot, I only have a handful. I switched to Godot a couple of years ago, but before that, I was a hobbyist Unity game developer for over a decade. So lots of small personal projects and stuff. Stuff that, you know, was going to be Skyrim and then fell by the wayside. So we can build out these 3D areas. We can make rooms. We have a system that figures out where the compartments in the ship is, which right now is what's telling the autotiler how to render the spaces. So the thing is, we're trying to build a new tile atlas format, which is causing some difficulty because I'm getting kind of annoyed at it, but we're gonna do a little bit of work on that right now. But yeah, our autotiler does a lot of work for us, so we're trying to increase the capabilities of that autotiler. But yeah, there's a lot of systems at play. I wouldn't say we have a game at all yet. We've been really just working on tools for a long time. But I'm that kind of a person. There's only one of us. This is a solo project, so we're really building things up very sequentially and slowly. You're using Godot to make your own editor to make your game, man. Yeah. Yeah. We've actually split the simulation layer off into a C# kind of simulation world. So we're actually doing all the rendering and UI stuff in Godot, and then we kind of have our own rough entity component system that we've written to handle the simulation. because I like Godot. I especially love Godot for small projects. I was kind of daunted about trying to shove everything into the scene tree. Like, I was daunted by the idea of how to structure a large project in a scene tree like that, where you've got a lot of simulation going on and you've got kind of this voxelized data. So I decided to just kind of split it off so that a simulation component could either be an entity or it could be just an element of a buffer, like a dynamic buffer. So we're kind of using Godot in kind of a non-intuitive way. We're kind of picking and choosing what parts of Godot we want to use, but I like it. I especially love Godot for jam games and 2D stuff. It's really great. But how are you doing? What kind of stuff do you work on? Right now, we're probably going to do some really boring work about mapping a texture map atlas here, or a tile map atlas. We're mapping out a tile map atlas between a couple different states. So I've already done these. I've already done the lion's share of it. I've done the whole left side of this. So we just need to do the remaining chunks here. So let's line this up and let's line this up. We have like autotiler space and then like texture map space, and I'm mapping the two together here to expand our autotiler to be able to handle more complicated arrangements. So I got to take this mapping and then map each of these tiles onto its corresponding point here. So let's turn the indexes on so I can actually read. And we'll turn the indexes on here so I can also read this. This is going to be kind of hard to follow, but this is what I need to work on today, so we're going to work on it. This is what I need to work on, and I think I need to take a look at how we're going to process these JSON files kind of in my own time when I can just stare at the screen. You've been learning Lua? Not for Roblox. No, Lua's cool. What was it like? Hades is all written in Lua, so like it's like super modifiable or something. I forgot what game, but I thought it was something like Hades. But Lua's cool. You intend to use the Unbound engine? It's very similar to Dreams on PS4, if I've ever heard of that. Nix, you hate Lua? Weren't you just complaining about modding Project Zomboid in Java? Like, how much more could you hate Lua than that? All right, Unbound engine. I've never heard of this. Unbound game engine. Unbound, 3D reimagined. Let's take a look at this. What do you want to make today? Ooh, this looks cool. Oh, wow. I like the CSG stuff. CSG is cool. Is that what this is? Is it like a CSG powered engine? SDF? Oh, okay. But that seems like the principles. It seems like it's following constructive solid geometry principles. This looks cool. I'm going to blow this up a little bit so people can see more of this. Oh, this looks neat. Use assigned distance fields for asset creation. Yeah, that's really cool. PZ uses Lua. Oh, okay. Oh, Project Zomboid uses Lua and Java together. Concerning. But again, Project Zomboid, who cares, right? At the end of the day, that's a pain in the butt, but, you know, Project Zomboid is such a successful game. That's like nobody's complaining about Toby Fox's, you know, the way Toby Fox wrote Undertale. Nobody cares. In fact, everyone is kind of impressed. SDF shapes are non-destructive and thus very forgiving. Make changes to models at any point during development, even while your game is running. Oh, that is slick. This is interesting. Are there any games that use this right now? I mean, obviously there are going to be games that use this right now, but like, is there anything I know? Oh, is it free and open source or something? Oh, this is an export thing. fact. Hit me with the facts. This looks some really cool. Is this like new? I don't see a lot. I don't see a lot about this. I love that. This seems really cool. This seems like it has a lot of potential. Really neat. They implemented jolt physics and joints recently. They're making great progress. Still early on, year or two old. That's really cool. Is that just something that you thought would be like a neat place, like a environment to work in, or is there like a specific game that you've got in mind where you're like, I need this to be able to do this? All right, so we're gonna map the other two. So we've got bulk X full. So we're gonna also then do bulk X half. I don't love describing this in JSON, but I want to do it in a way that's an asset. I don't want to do I don't want to hard code a dictionary in my tile system file or whatever. So it's kind of stupid that I'm going to be processing this file like this, but all right. So we build this out. This is pretty easy. So there's only one null thing at the, actually we don't even need the nulls at the end, do we? Well, we kind of do. We'll do it for flavor. So what we're going to do here is we're going to match every index here. Oh, these are actually going to be the same, huh? That's cool. I might copy them over multiple times, though. So we're just going to match each one to this, to the coordinates that correspond to this here. More the first. You think it looks great, very intuitive, has serious potential with what you know they're going to be adding. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Towards the last few years of my using Unity, I was very much of that mindset as well. I'm going to flip these. I was very much of the mindset that I was really interested in their data-oriented tech stack, specifically, you know, their entity component system. I was really interested in that. And it felt very cutting edge. I was really excited to work in that medium. Then they made some business decisions that were like, you know, irreconcilable with that desire. But all right, so we're gonna map these to these values over here. So this maps to 0, 0. So we're going to say 0, 0. This is going to be more of a chatty stream. I feel like we're not going to do any particularly interesting work this stream. That's cool. It's Saturday. We're chilling. So 2 maps to 3, 0. Then we double back for 2, 0. All right, let's go find 4. Okay, 4 is down here. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to actually add a grid here. 16 by 16. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So section 4 is 5 down here and 1 over. So it's going to be 1, 5 for number 4. Yep. Yeah, I spent a few years working on some cool stuff. And I got, if it isn't clear, I got very enamored with their entity component system, which is why I've kind of written my own entity component system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 6 is 9 down, 1 over. So we say 1, 9. 7 goes back up to 5. And it's 3, 5. So yeah, we just got to write out this mapping from the dense map to the sparse map. Okay, where's 8? Okay, 8's here. 8 is 10 down, 3 over. But yeah, I love Godot. Godot's pixel perfect rendering and pixel perfect physics and all, and just kind of the usability of the engine, especially for a solo developer, is really refreshing. I probably could have picked some other. I probably could have gone with, you know, Game Maker or whatever, but or Love 2D. But I'm really glad I tried. I'm trying Godot here. I've been really pleased. So 10, 11, 12, 13. So 3 and 13. Godot has also gained serious traction recently. Yep, yeah. Yeah, the Godot, I've asked about that. The Godot, after the runtime fiasco, the Godot user base doubled. And most of those people are still here, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's kind of helped me in the stream because a lot of people see the C#, which isn't on screen right now, but they see me working in C#, they see me working in Godot. They're like, I'm an ex-Unity dev, or I'm current Unity dev, and I would like to see what else there is. You know, I'd like to see what other options there are. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19. Okay, so this is 3, 19. This seems like this is going to be really reasonably easy compared to the other mappings we were doing, or the other mappings I was doing offline. I didn't want to do this on stream because this is tremendously boring, but, you know, it's the work that needs to be done. All right, so 11 is here. 11 is... I'm going to lock all of these. I don't want to accidentally... Oh, I already did. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 down, 3 over. You'd be asking that too if you're a Unity dev during the runtime stuff. Yeah. Sometimes the boring stuff is fun to watch. Maybe you're just weird that way, lol. That's the vibe we try to promote here. Is it like doesn't matter what we're working on. It should be like a chill place for us to hang out and co-work and talk about stuff. So yeah, in one sense, I don't think it matters a lot whether I'm working on something interesting or not, but in another sense, I am trying to grow the channel, and it does help with first-time viewers if you're working on something understandable. So at least we only have to do this twice, and we get double the value because the floors and the half walls use the same mapping. So luckily, this isn't going to be much that I have to worry about here. All right, so where's 12? There's 12. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 0, 5. Hades did use Lua. All right, we got there. We got back to that eventually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's actually driven a lot of my development. My mindset here with this game is about making the game moddable in the long run, because I am a solo developer, which means I have a limited amount of ability to make content. I think when you're a solo developer like this, you end up wanting to emphasize system design, because the more systems that you're able to build, the more that you can have 3, 6 isn't right. It's 1, 6. The more you can have help. So like other people could make content for it, which is why like the block editor tool I showed you, that's just running in game. That's just like a mode of the game. So you can make these ships like while the game is running. And I want to take the approach of that kind of that approach where like the base game is really just a mod of the game itself. And so I want to make it. I want to build all these systems, these editors and systems, and really make it so that if the game, you know, resonates with people, they'll never have a shortage of content. There will always be some content, even if I'm kind of lagging behind in my creating of the content. There will always be more from other people. A while back, you started learning C++ for the purpose of using Unreal Engine. You ended up pivoting to Godot, and now either Unbound or a mix of Godot and Unbound. Yeah, it looked like Unbound. It looked like there was a pathway to exporting the Unbound assets into Godot if that was something you were interested in doing. That seems cool. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we got ads coming in on the Twitch side, so we'll just be chilling while those run out here. I'm going to continue encoding this stuff. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. Let me do that. Good looking out. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks everyone hanging out today. I didn't really want to stream today. I think I got kind of spoiled taking a break. I was like, oh, so nice. But it's been nice. It's been nice hanging out. There have been some new faces, familiar faces. Saturday is a great day for game dev in general, in my opinion. Nix, you don't know how I keep up with the streaming. Yeah, it's I learned early on that it was a muscle that you build like anything else. And I've been building that muscle for a year and a half, 2 years. It's going by fast. It really is. It's kind of scary. All right, find the number. Where's 23? Here it is. All right, now where's 24? There it is. All right, we're back. We're back from ads. Still cruising along here. Finishing writing this kind of inverted map from the dense tile map atlas to the sparse one, which is, this is the autotiler logic. This is how an autotiler thinks of a texture, the tile map atlas, and so we're just mapping from the dense map onto the sparse map. I actually need to see the indexes here, I guess. We just need to do it. We need to finish this one and do it one more time for the Y face, and then we're pretty much done. The floors kind of speak for themselves, I guess. That'll be relatively easy to do. Should be. All right. Now what did we leave off on? 27. Okay, we're cruising. All right, where's 28? 28. There you are. All right, you're 113. Insane Alpha Beta. You forgot to say earlier, but game jams might be one of the best things to happen to game dev. So useful. Yeah, we got a game jam we're participating in a couple weeks. We're very excited about it. Down to jam. It's actually the first round of theme elimination. It's going on right now. But yeah, September 5th to September 8th. I think I have a dark mode on that's messing up the way this displays. But this is a great jam, community run jam by a lot of game devs and streamers. Second edition of this jam ever is yeah, it's soon. Very excited. I gotta do my theme elimination voting, which we'll probably do at the end of the stream. I'll leave that tab up because I am gonna need it. September 8th is your birthday. You're leveling up to 31. Congrats, nice. Get ready to feel old soon. You're gonna roll out of bed and have hurt your back on that day. You'll look at something the wrong way and hurt your neck. You already do? Yeah. Yeah. We tend to have a sedentary lifestyle, you know, game devs. Not good. I gotta work on it this year. Trying to fight my way to my bicycle. I can get it out. Do some riding while the weather's nice here. All right, where's 30? There it is. So 110. Six. $320. Getting the hang of this. I'm getting the hang of this. This won't take too much longer. $316. So for context, what are you doing right now with all the little numbers? So you saw how our autotiler worked. So our autotiler is evaluating the space and picking the texture to render. It's based on, you know, it's generally based on outlines right now, because right now we're using flat textures. But obviously you can imagine a world where you have edge textures and the texture is different. So the autotiler thinks of things this way, in this format, which is you can tell it's a very loose and sparse format, where it evaluates the atlas coordinate that we want. So it'll say, all right, I want to remove this outline, and I want to remove the upper right outline, and I want to remove, I don't know, let's say the lower left outline. So it says x plus 1 for the right outline, and then x plus, I don't know what this is, 8 for the left outline. So it's like, okay, here we are on the, or 9. Oh no, 8, because it's 8 for the left and then plus 1 for the right. So we're like, okay, we figured out our x coordinate. And then we need to figure out our y coordinate. So we need to be like, okay, so can we remove the outline above us? Do we leave the corner in place, or do we also remove the corner? So if it's like remove the top and remove the corner, that's y plus 2. So it'll be like, okay, x plus 9 and y plus 2. This is the atlas coordinate that we want. Great. But we can't just render this because this is like a really inefficient way to pack a tile map atlas. So what we've done is we have a packed version of it, which is over here. So I could tell you where that tile is. So we've decided we wanted this tile, right? Where x equals 9 and y equals 2. So if I look at the index, so index 160. Actually, the better information for us is group number. So we're group number 40. So we're the first piece of group 40. Okay. So now we come over here. Group 40. Here it is. So this is the tile we want to render. This one. Packed in here. So this is just the thing that I'm writing out here is a JSON file that's an array that maps from this to this. It essentially maps from the dense map to the sparse map. And then in the tile system, we'll flip it and we'll build a dictionary. But the easiest way to store it is to just store these relationships as an array. So this was, what did we say? This was index 160. So somewhere in here, we could find index 160. And if you looked at the value for index 160, it'd be, that atlas chord that we said. It would be 9, 2. So if somewhere in here is 9, 2. I don't exactly know where, but it's in here somewhere. There it is, 9, 2. Found it. So this is at the 160th element. Or it's at the 161st element because I index 0. So we're basically just writing the map one direction, and then we'll build it the other direction, and then the autotiler can do that. You say nice. I'm kind of annoyed at this system right now, but we're making it work. I have some concerns. This has been really tedious to set up manually. Obviously, in the future, we're going to automate this to make it easier to generate. This stuff. But the thing I'm concerned about, honestly, is that I don't know if I can guarantee that these empty... I don't know if I can guarantee that the autotiler will only ever point to unique tiles. I have a feeling that that's true, but I'm not sure. Like, what if the autotiler was like, I think X should be 2 and Y should be 1. And that would be like, okay, well, that's this tile. There's nothing here because this isn't a unique tile. It would just be this again. Because removing the upper right corner of this tile doesn't do anything. So it would just look like this. So I'm a little concerned about that. I'm hoping it just works. So we're going to try it and presume that it just works. So we're finishing up that process of documenting the map. Again, trying to do it in a way, we're doing it in a JSON file that's just stored kind of with our assets. So that if you were like, I wonder what the texture map atlas format is that we use here, you could just look up this file and be like, okay. So I'm trying to do this in a way that's like asset driven, so that if another asset theoretically used a different format, we could maybe handle it if we needed to. We're just going to assume that it works. A true software engineer. Thanks, DragonFax. Yeah, that's yeah. I can't think of an I'm sure I could come up with like a I'm sure if I thought through all the like axioms or whatever of like the way that I'm constructing this, I could make a determination. But yeah, we're just gonna do it and try. We're just gonna test it. I can't think of an a priori reason why it wouldn't work the way that I'm thinking it will work, but obviously we need to test it. So we're just powering through. And we're doing this all manually here because this is our first go with the new format, and we're just going to construct it manually and see where we're at. All right, 316. Where did we leave off anyway? $33. Okay, so where's 34 then? $318. But yeah, the mapping is different for the X face and the Y face, so we're going to redo this one more time for the Y face, and then I think we're good. I think we're done with this part. All right, so we're up to 35 out of 46. Or 47, technically. 35. That's 35. So where's 36? There it is. 36 is 0, 1. Easy. All right. 37 is right next to it. That's a 1, 2. 38 is a little further here. I should study these patterns a little better, but so I kind of understand them, but whatever. It's all arbitrary, isn't it? 33, 4, or 3, 4, and then 2, 3, and then 3, 3, 2. All right, where's 41? There it is. 211. $42 is down here somewhere. No. Oh, there it is. 3, 3. All right, 43. Where are you at? There you are. 217. $44 is 3, 23. 3, 22. $39. All right, that's it. That's it for that one. That's it for the bulk X half, which is actually the same as the deck X half, which we should just copy over. So we can say deck X, or we don't need half or full. We can just say deck X. And that's the same mapping. It's an identical mapping, which is great. So let's just grab that and copy it down. All right, now we do bulk Y half. Again, I think I want to do this explicitly just in case someone, or I even, use a different format later on. Just want to be very explicit about what we're doing. I don't want any implicit, well, a bulk X is actually just the same as the deck. Like, Or the bulk X half is the same as the deck X. It's like, yeah, maybe. It is right now. Which, I mean, I guess that will always be true, but whatever. Who cares? Honestly, we could shorten this, so this is just bulk X. Yeah, I'm concerned about making presumptions. Let's not do it. It's such a trivial amount of memory. It's an extra itty bitty array to store. Let's not worry about it. All right. Now here's the thing that always gets me. When I jump from one side to the other, I accidentally jump back at some point. So we need to make sure we stay exactly on this side. Be very, very careful here. Yeah, like this looks wrong. Concerned. It's fine. Anyone playing or watching anything they're pretty jazzed about? I know Fusionist was talking about the System Shock remake. All right. 2.5. That's what we're looking at next here. Let me scroll up so people can see that I am in fact doing something. Insane Alpha Beta. Jurassic World Evolution 3 looks fantastic. Okay. I've been very skeptical of those. I love the original Jurassic Park trilogy. And I've been pretty skeptical of remakes. Like I didn't watch the Chris Pratt ones. But you know, I watched the Naked Gun remake and that was very funny. So maybe I should be less harsh, you know. Should be more open. I guess that wasn't technically a remake. It was like a reboot. Actually, it wasn't even a reboot either because it acknowledges the existence of the previous movies. I don't know what to call that. But okay, I'll keep that in mind. That sounds good. I do like dinosaurs. 17. 317. A rehash. A regurgitate. It's better than those. Those feel very, that feels very negative. Reflux. I like that. That's good. Reflex is what we call the bad ones. The ones that hurt us. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a good example would be. You know it when you see it, you know. Insane Alpha Beta, Jurassic World was good. You enjoyed the movies well enough. The games have been great. They've been making games? Okay. I don't know how I didn't notice that. Jurassic World Evolution 3 is a game, like the old PS2 game, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. Oh, okay. I thought that was a movie. Jurassic World Evolution. I'm so confused about the naming convention here. Jurassic World Evolution 3. Evolution 3. Oh, this looks cool, actually. I was thinking of like the ScarJo movie that I've seen advertised. Is that not... What's that? Is that just Jurassic World 3 or something? No, that's from 2022. Isn't there a new Jurassic? Oh, there's Jurassic World Rebirth. That's what I'm thinking of. I can't keep up. That does not seem to have reviewed well. Okay, no, the game looks sick. Okay. It's like a tycoon kind of game. You play Hammond, or some kind of Hammond-esque descendant, the original Jurassic Park owner guy, Richard Attenborough. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't keep track of all the iterations of these properties sometimes, you know? All right, where's 16? Okay, there it is. All right, where's 21? I can't find it. Oh, there it is. So that's 20. 20 is at Y10, so that's 11, 12, 13. Okay. It's basically a park builder. Yeah, I love that old tycoon style stuff. That's great. I do remember a Jurassic Park game, but this would be so old it will date me quite bad. Yeah, when was this game made? I had a Jurassic Park game for my old Nintendo Game Boy, my old Game Boy, the black and white little Game Boy, which I think is the Game Boy Pocket. Yeah, I think that was just Jurassic Park. Maybe it was the Lost World Jurassic Park. That game was hard. It was hard for a kid, at least. But yeah, I love tycoon games. I could see getting into that. Oh, I did the thing where I jumped to the other side. I think that's okay, though. Such a problem for me. I jumped to the wrong face. I think I picked the right one, though. We'll find out. We'll find out if I've encoded this correctly. No real guarantee either way. All right, where's 27? There it is. Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon was my jam. I haven't really done a more of a creature-based one like a Zoo Tycoon or anything like that, but I've seen some cool ones. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Six, 3, 6. Nix, you can't believe it. Your mod works. Well, it works as in you're able to use Java finally. Now to actually write your code in Java. Aw, sigh. Well, you got to whatever preliminary condition to, you know, actually do the thing. That's not nothing. That's progress. Progress is all you can ask for. Really. Even that's a bit much sometimes. 316. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Nineteen, 18, 17, 16, 15. All right, now I can do these. These ones will be easy here. Nix, you're finally able to like get the character's weight, fitness, and strength levels in game using Java, so that's like a big jump. I only need to rewrite your complex code to change the character's stuff on the go, if that's even possible. Ah, okay. So you're changing their characteristics? Yeah, that's an interesting question. 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 2. All right. Oh, and there's 40. 1, 2, 3, 3. Oh, there's 41. Yeah, we're almost done with this part. 110. All right, I think once we're done with this, we're going to do some jam theme elimination. Oh man, I really hope I didn't jump to the other side. I don't think I have. I think I've been doing good. I think I've been keeping it straight here. Where's 42 though? Oh, there's 42. Skywalk, you found your issue. You were recreating CSS every time instead of using your reusing stuff. Oh, you were regenerating the whole thing like every time or something like that. Huzzah. Yeah, there's so many complex emotions when you find a bug like that. You're like, relief that you found it, and great shame that you did it in the first place. You go through all the stages of grief. Nix, you're changing the model itself and the clothing models too. The model itself is semi-easy. You're creating shape keyed FBX model. You just need to adjust the shape keys in game and actually load in the proper model. Not sure if this is actually possible or not. Only one way to know. Ah, right. I forgot we were talking about Project Zomboid. For some reason, I thought we were talking about RimWorld. I wonder why. All right, where's 43 here? There it is. $44 and $45, easy. $46 should be right here. It is. All right, that's it. We got it. We just need to do the deck Z. I guess the Z's. I guess it's both Z's. All right, deck Z. This one should be super easy to do. Actually, I don't want to do it there. I'm going to do it up here. Yeah, here it is. Why is that indented so weirdly? Skywalk, yeah, like you made the system to reuse stuff, but you never implement it, so you were recreating it every time. Java in RimWorld, you would never. Yeah, hopefully not. All right, so the last one's super easy. I didn't actually index it correctly. I probably should. Where's the index layer? Right here. Let me just take these. Actually, let me just take these from here. We'll just put these here. Change the grid here. This one's like trivially easy to do. But it does have a mapping because I am trying to pack it on the other side a little bit. All right, so we just do this one real easy. So we know when we pack it, it's this dense mapping here, or it's this 2x8. It's 2x8 when we pack it, but it's 4x4 when it's unpacked. So that should be pretty easy. So what we just do is we say 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. This is super linear, so this should be really easy. I know I keep saying that. I'm telling myself, okay? So I want to get to our jam submission theme voting. I think that'll be a fun way to end the stream. All right, I think that's it. That's the whole format. Okay, so I'm gonna look in my own time. I'm gonna look about how we parse the JSON in the system, and then that should be easy. And then we can build out the dictionaries we actually need, and then we can go. We can just do the thing. All right, so let me get the jam thing. Shouldn't I be signed in here? I am, right? Reload. Stop. Why does it say join? I thought I was already in the jam. Oh, I just gotta log back in. There we go. All right, theme elimination. Let's do it. Go to theme elimination. All right. Let's do this. Let's eliminate some themes. All right, how do I do this? Okay, I scroll through them here. Welcome to the theme elimination. This is a spot to say which submitted themes you like or dislike before they go to the voting rounds. You can vote on as many themes as you want, and the themes with the most score will move to the voting rounds. Show clarification text people have entered for their theme if available. All right. Vote as much as you want on whether you like or dislike certain themes. So this is just us like downvoting or upvoting stuff we don't like. So the first one is Gathering. I think of The Gathering from Babylon 5. Gathering is a good theme, I think. I've decided. I don't remember how many themes there are to eliminate. I think there's like 70 or something like that. Elimination stats. Did not vote on 76 themes. Okay, there's 76 themes, so let's just cruise through. This is how we're going to close out the stream. This is for Down to Jam, which is a jam, d2jam.com. I'm just going to throw the link in the chat, in the two chats. d2jam.com. It's September 5th through 8th. Very excited. It's going to be a great jam. Great people. All right, Gathering. I like that. I like Gathering. I'm too old for this. I think that's funny, but I wouldn't want to... Like, if that came up, I would be upset. Crash. We can also skip if we don't really care either way. Oh my god, never gonna give you up. Nix. Someone's rickrolling the theme submissions. All right, Crash. I don't know how I feel about Crash. I'm gonna say no. No. Growing Together. Wasn't you? Yeah. Growing Together. So what even would that be? There's some fun stuff I think you could do. I'm not sure about that one. We'll come back to that one. Castle. Castle. Just one word, castle. I generally don't like one-word jam themes. The exception was the last Ludum Dare, which was just like depths or something. I thought that was good. Castle. Also, sorry to whoever I'm just like... Reflection. I think Reflection could actually be a really cool jam theme. There's some really cool stuff you could probably do interpreting that. Speed. Actually, I don't know if I care. I don't want to read people's clarifications. I know Adagon worked hard on this feature, but I feel like I just want to evaluate the theme by itself as it was written. Spite. Oh my god, spite. This is hilarious, but I don't think you can do a game jam for spite, you know? Spark. Spark could be cool. But Clark the Spark already exists. Clark the Spark already exists, so I'm going to say no. That's like the ultimate Spark jam game. Intertwined. I don't know how I would interpret this if this came up. I'm going to vote yes on like the smallest percentage of these probably. Intertwined. That could be fun if you're doing some kind of like puzzle game that has like lots of interlocking or interrelated things. I'm just not sure what I would do. I'm gonna leave that for now. Cat. I don't like cats. I'm allergic. I'm deathly allergic to them. That's why I don't like them. Let's be clear. I relate to their personality. It doesn't mean I like I like their personality, but I can relate to it. Lucky. I don't know what that means. Slop. Oh my god. That's so bad. I mean, you could make a jam about slop, probably. I kind of like this idea. I'd be tempted to implement liquid physics. Drift. I like drift. I think drift would be cool. Flightless Antarctic birds. I see what you did there. Schlock is better than slop. Nix, the only thing you can think of is SciSpark, which is a Python environment for Azure stuff. You should play Clark the Spark by Bad Cop. Bad Cop, Jago Fett, and who else did this game? Vesdev. Clark the Spark. I'm going to drop that in the chat too. The only Spark-based jam game we need. Teamwork makes the dream work. This is a little tough because I'm entering this jam as a solo. Patterns. Patterns could be fun. I'm kind of neutral. I'm actually going to skip that one. Divinity. Divinity. I don't know how to interpret that one either. I got to come back to that. Home. Home. Balloon. Everyone is all about the one word jam themes. It's my fault. I didn't submit any jam themes. I should have. I would have gotten too upset if they weren't selected. I would have gotten too excited about my own jam themes. I would have gotten upset. All right, whatever. We're just voting. It's not like we're actually eliminating these things. We're just affecting the Divinity. I think that could be interesting. Everything is a button is a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. Balloon. I think balloon could be fun. I think you could do a number of things there. Bounce. Combination. This is interesting. Jank. Jank is a fun theme. I don't know how you would actually implement that. Oh, there's penguins. Love. Love. Huh. Down to business. What even does this mean? I'm having a hard time here. I need to just vote based on my initial reaction to them. Divinity. No, I don't think that's good. Home. I think home could be fun. Balloon. I think balloon could also maybe be fun. I'm having a hard. I'm gonna skip that one because I see some potential. Bounce. Bounce could be fun. I really don't want to do physics. I always end up getting myself into a situation where I need to use physics for my jam game, and I really don't want to be in that position. Everything with button, that's good. That gets a yes. Combination. This feels like it's not descriptive, but I get the idea. I get the idea. Skip that for now. We can come back and look at the skipped ones. Jank. I think Jank could be fun, but I'd be really nervous if this one actually won because this gives me 0 ideas. I don't have any ideas. I'll skip it for now. Shred. Shred could be fun. Love. I am not sure about that. Disarray. Disarray could be fun. That could be like a cleaning simulator thing. Down to business. I don't know what that means. Bags. I don't know what that means either. Meet expectation. Oh my god. Blast. Be very explosive oriented, I guess. Matthew, you're all in on jank. Yeah, I mean, whatever we do is gonna be themed on jank because everything we do is janky. What is this? Neutrality, no extremes. What even is that? Seconds. I don't know. Up to date. This would be a dating simulator. I don't want to make a dating simulator. Amalgam. Amalgam is like combination. I think I will allow that. Erosion. Ooh, this is a good one. I'll take that. Take a bow. I think could also be take a bow. I'll allow this one too. Magic. Yeah, why not? The idiots are taking over. Coordination. I think that could be fun. Rags to riches. Just go binge a bunch of Eurojank games for inspiration. We could do that. I don't know about rags to riches. We're skipping a lot more than I thought I would. Underneath, I think that's a cool one. Because we didn't get to use my depths idea. Diplomatic. That could also be fun. Dog. I had literally said in the Discord I would upvote any dog themes, so I'm obliged. Historical, inaccurate. I wish this was spelled better. I kind of like this one. Historical, inaccurate could be fun. I wish it was historically. My inner grammarian is upset at this one, but I like the idea here. Signal. This is also a good one. Tap. I'm not making a mobile game, so I don't really want tap. Unexpected. I feel like this is fundamentally undoable, but trouble. Yeah, a lot of these don't mean anything to me. Like, I see the word and it doesn't evoke anything. No. Yeah, I guess that's how I should vote. I should vote depending on how evocative a thing is. The idiots are taking over. Yeah, that one, I think that one would be doable, but I think it would be confusing. Cascade could be cool. Swarm and Cascade, I'm down with. Preparation. This one could be interesting. This could be all about, like, you don't even do anything. You just prepare to do something. Like, you're preparing an expedition or, like, some other... Like, it's all the lead up to something. That could be fun. The parade. I don't know what this means. What does this mean? Minimalism and maximalism. I don't know if you can fit both of those into the same theme, but isn't Trouble an old board game? I guess it is. Distortion. Oh, distortion could be fun. Title. Ooh, I like that. Tools of the trade. I don't know what I would do with this, but I kind of like it. I'm going to skip that one. Pick 3. Role reversal. Role reversal could be fun. Light and dark. Is this not, was this not like a Pirate Jam theme? Maybe that was just dark. I don't remember. Light and dark. This would end up being a very heavily lighting based thing. I'm gonna skip it. Audio as the main mechanic. That is tough for us. Anything about horror, I feel like people don't realize that these are literally the themes. It's not like tangent. That could be, I actually don't know what I would do with tangent. I'm gonna skip it. Melting pot. I think that's too similar to everything else. Out of memory. Ooh, that's a fun one. Lights out. That could be a fun one. That's better than light and dark. What did I do for light and dark? I skipped it. I'm gonna say no to that one. Train again. Oh, just another train theme. Train again. I would like to make a jam based on trains. I'm actually fine with that. You could also interpret that other ways. Knock. No. Solar punk. I'm actually kind of okay with that. Lie. Ooh. Take it literally is kind of fun. Lie, I don't know how I feel about that. Take it literally. Defect, that could be fun. Collect. Collect feels very... Hey, Gedwick. 7879. Welcome in. How's it going? Kind of doing a little bit of theme elimination for a jam that's coming up September 5th through 8th called Down to Jam. You found the channel through the algorithm? Probably because we're normally making an FTL-like in Godot. We're normally doing game dev. We're making a kind of isometric 2D FTL-like in Godot. We're wrapping up our stream, though, so we've been submitting theme eliminations for this jam that's coming up. Collect. This feels very generic, but could be fun. I'll allow it. Actually, I'm going to skip it. I will allow it, but I will not put my finger on the scale. Scarcity. That's a good one. All right, so what did I do? I voted yes on 28 themes. I voted no on 32 themes. I voted skip on 14 themes. I did not vote on 2 themes. Where are those 2 themes I did not vote on? If I hit previous... Okay, what I want to do is I want to be able to, like, filter out the themes I haven't used yet or done anything with. I think earlier on I said I would come back and look at a couple of them. Oh, there's one. Intertwined. I don't know how I feel about this. Fake mobile game ad game. Tangent would have been very orbital. Isometric FTL. Yeah, that's what we're going for. That's what we're going for. Yeah, check it out. We stream Tuesdays through Saturdays. Usually not quite so late in the day as this. But... all right, so intertwined and growing together. These feel very related, and I'm not sure what to do about these. I think I'm going to skip them, because I think I could come up with stuff to do, but I don't have a strong opinion on them either way. All right, so we voted yes on a third. We voted no on, like, 40% of them, and we skipped, like, 20% of them. Okay, I can live with that. That seems fine. Confused product placement, anarchy. Where were you when we were submitting themes? Dragon Facts. I'm kidding. So that's the first theme elimination. I think next is theme voting on August 29th. We got 76 entrants. And the jam starts in 12 days and 18 hours. Mild panic. So the theme voting will start in about a week. So we'll probably tune back in. Game Jam September 5th, rating period September 8th, results the 21st. So yeah, this is my September. My whole September is going to be this jam. It feels like it's going to be great. I'm excited. I haven't done a jam since the last Ludum Dare, and we did not succeed. We did not successfully do that jam. But yeah, that's it. Winners don't use drugs. Yeah, you're really just full of ideas, Dragon Facts. You need to apply these. You need to apply this big dragon brain here. But yeah, this has been fun. It's been a quiet day, but it's been a good day. You'll have your PC back up and running on the 2nd of September, hopefully. Never buy a cheap PSU. Truly never buy a cheap PSU, Gedwick. That can cause... It's one of those things where it's like... Even a nice GP or a nice PSU is not that expensive. It's like, yeah, just spend the $50. Get a Corsair or something. Get something with some, you know... Get something with some rep, good rep. Cause yeah, it's scary when the PSU dies, cause it could damage some other things on the way out, you know. Like you don't want to burn out your motherboard just cause your PSU died. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, join us on the jam. d2jam.com. d2jam.com. Friday, September 5th. Through Sunday, September 8th. Be there. Be down. Nothing worse than finishing a build, pressing power, and nothing happening. Yeah, that's really funny when that happens. I remember the old days when you do the paperclip test. Like when you pretend to ground the yeah. I have a history testing power supplies. You're hoping it's just the PSU that needs replacing? Did make you work on a 2D game with this old PC? Yeah, 2D. We love 2D here. We're doing so much stuff just to make our game, which exists in 3D, look like it's a 2D. Well, we're rendering everything in 2D, but we're rendering a 3D world in 2D, and it's so much fun. It's this very layered isometric 2D thing we got going. Yeah. But yeah, I got to wrap it up here. We did our work for the day. We did our theme elimination. Could be forgetting. Yeah, the pins are fun. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back Tuesday to start our regularly scheduled week. Tuesday through Saturday. I don't think I have any reason why I'd miss any of that. But yeah, it's been nice taking a break, but it's nice to be back. And it's just nice. It's nice to have you here. It's nice to be hanging out with you all. It's nice. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you all for hanging out. It was nice. Yeah, thanks, Arneo. It was nice. Not thrilling, but nice. No, it was chill. I needed a nice chill stream, and y'all delivered. Stay amazing, peeps. Yeah, you got it, Jedwick. Exactly. Anyway, yeah, hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Nice.
Maximum warp.